Thursday. It's Derek. I'm here in the studio. I still haven't fixed that left ear thing. Apparently, because the microphone does mono audio, I have to do some balancing stuff. I read a lot. That's actually the fun part about Thirsty Thursday. Have a hunger for action and a thirst for knowledge. And I just came up with that as honestly, I wasn't here yesterday. Sorry, I couldn't help it. These fruit leather things, they're just crazy. They're simple. They're enough to change the palate. And check them out. I'm not an advocate. I don't know nothing about the brand. All I know is they're fairly clean and healthy, and they went well with my cashews. So anyway, first and foremost, I wanted to show up, say hi, be fluid, be here, be present. These are good. I fed one to my dog because she wants everything that I eat. Not just because she's a dog, but because I eat really healthy sometimes. I'm just like, these are actually really good. So at my office, they give away incentives or perks of the community space, and they'll have like snacks midday. And so I had there's no added sugar. These are awesome. I've turned these down like 100 times. I'm like, what is this? This packaging is offbeat. It's nice. So there's organic mango puree, and there's some thing. Anyways, give the other half to the dog. You want the other half? Here we go. So, what better way to do a live video and to not take it seriously than to get on video and just be snacking, drinking, and snacking. Now, at least I didn't replicate one of the live videos I did on Facebook where I was eating an apple and I was just talking. I think the most important thing that I'm going to tell you today is truly that you are more powerful and more capable than what you truly can imagine. And I know for sure that with the right people on your team, the right friends, the right family, and if you don't have the right family, fire them and go recruit some new ones. I have no family that I could ever have a wedding with, so I'm going to have to rent a family. And they got to be really good actors. And they got to be able to pull it off for at least a whole day. Anyway, that's just me being funny and being truthful. Basically, it's important to have the right people on your team because the dynamic of personalities, the dynamic of who somebody is, their energy, all those things can be the difference between mediocrity as well as like what's on the other side of mediocrity. I would say salience. I would say to stand out, to have leaps upward in development, transformation. We often are not aware of how powerful and how capable and how creative we are. And I say this because, like, truthfully, like, I am actually going through this transformation of my own right now. I've been doing videos for years. Much of them are disorganized. Much of them are very long format. And many of them are absolutely highly structured, very specific, and fucking awesome. what I tend to do is get into the rhythm of making these videos, and then I get out. There is some confession here. It's really, really, really weird. It's really weird to stare at this camera and like just see the camera. I see Lumex. I see a lens. I see this little circle thing kind of in the middle. Like if I was to really like focus on just it, maybe it looks like the eye. Maybe it looks like a human eye, just like one little one, right? But at the end of the day, it's not as easy to sit and stare at a camera while wanting to be connecting with people. And I realize, especially like after I do some training with clients, after I do any sort of brainstorming session with my business, with potential projects that could be, whatever the case is, when I'm in that in-person interaction and there's that human element to it, I just connect in a way that I could stay engaged for 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours. And I think that's the thing that I'm missing here on the camera, is there's nobody right there. And so I definitely know that a podcast and like in-person interviews are something that are in the future for what I am going to create. And I also know that the trainings that I'm capable of doing, that I've done in one-on-one, one-on-two, small group settings under, under like 7 people, under 10 people, those are really fun. I like that. Like, I think under 15 people, it's still a small enough group to where the connection and the cohesiveness of what can actually take place is powerful. So literally, like, this comes back to me telling you that the most important thing I could share with you is truly how powerful you really are and what you are really capable of doing when you shed some of the layers, when you shed some of the bullshit, And then my favorite is to turn down the dial, turn down the knob of the, let's see here. I see, it gave me notifications over my own stuff. That's awesome. To turn down the dial, turn down the knob of that inner critic, that inner voice. Like, I personally, can kick my own ass harder than anybody. And so if you are one of those people that knows what I'm talking about, that has the inner critic, that knows, there's a such thing as excellence, and you experience it every time you fly. I don't care about customer service. I mean, that plane stayed together and got you from one point to another, and your luggage came with, hopefully, or it made it there at some point, right? That's excellence. The reality is, we all want to be in creation of something extraordinary. And what that something extraordinary is something different to everybody. What's extraordinary to someone who wants to create machinery and robotics is different version and physical, mental, emotional version of what a artist wants to create in sculpting clay, or what a painter wants to create in making canvas art with, oil paints. I mean, the spectrum of creation is broad, and I truly say it's intentionally broad because there's just so much creativity within all humans, and it doesn't mean you need a paintbrush. It doesn't mean you need anything, and that's where a lot of what we've been led to believe about ourselves has to shed and melt away before we can actually show up. And this is why it's so important. It's so important that we ensure we're around the right people. Because when we have the right people, when we have the right context, and we have the right things inside of the context, the cup, the container, when we have the right content, we have the right things inside of it, that's when things can really become just, I'm like, I'm at a loss for words. Like, they could become anything. Growth can be exponential. Tony Robbins gave an example of how he was making like $38,000 in training and coaching and the things he did in the beginning. And he went from $38,000 a year to making $1 million. And it happened like that. Now, he said, even though it didn't happen like that to some degree of how he explained it, based on my best memory, he explained that the time it took him to get from where he was to 38,000 was a long time. And then the time it took him to get from 38,000 to like 1 million was a long time. But how fast from 38 to 1 million was literally like, it was like so fast that's what he was like explaining. Like, it was exponential. And so I personally feel like exponential growth happens when we really see ourselves, when we know what we're capable of doing, when we hold strong and hold firm on our capabilities, when we hold strong and hold firm to ourselves, when that inner critic needs to be turned down, when that dial on the inner critic isn't low enough. I realize that so much of what I know is not necessarily just knowledge. It's literally like what I feel. Like, coolest thing ever. Like, just to reaffirm, like, we can feel energy, we can see energy, we can, all these things. Coolest thing. Without my contacts, I'm scared. Like, without my contacts, I'm scared. And I mean that like seriously, like from the bottom of my heart. Like, without my contacts, like, it's like a blur. I got like the cane out. Like, I'm anyways. So I walk into the health club and go downstairs, throw my stuff in the locker, and I'm going to put my contacts in, and I could see things, just not like as up close as like I need to be, or as far away. There's kind of like this midpoint where I could see things like they're so blurry I could just make out enough. Anyway, so this is about seeing energy, because we see it unconsciously, and this is what one of the biggest like assets to my existence. This is how I have created what I've created. This is how I am where I am, and this is how I help my clients with my beliefs and my values and my mindset of understanding like anything is possible. Like, seriously, anything is possible. If you're going through something right now, anything's possible. Now, I'm at the gym, health club, delete that. Like, okay. And I walk in and I see this guy, this guy's his name's Chris. This dude, Chris, he's like one of those, like, all about the business. Like, the guy shows up, gets the exercise in. He's social enough to give a shit, yet focused enough to, like, I'm about the business. Like, this dude's memorable. Very cool guy. And we've had some cool conversations about different aspects of which ways to approach health, which ways to approach fitness, and really aligned there. So definitely remember the guy. It's his energy, though, that is very memorable. And so even though I didn't have my contacts in and I could hardly see, remember, it's like kind of braille, like like let me feel around a little bit. Like, let me put my hand on a wall. Oh, is this a door? So I'm like, Chris, I was like, bro, if I could see you without my contacts in, then that means I could see your energy. Like, I could just tell the vibe. And this is exactly tied into how important it is to really understand that the most important gifts that we have to contribute exist within inside of us. And that's important specifically because the only way we'll really, really be able to deliver the value that we have is to see that for ourselves. If we are in a relationship, if we are, working our business, if we are looking to get interviewed and apply for a new job, we can never ask the other party to see something in us and hold that as a valuable asset to contribute to the experience, the equation, the opportunity, whatever you want to frame it as, if we don't see it. If we don't see it. You could be the best person that the person that doesn't appreciate you in the relationship you're in right now has ever experienced. But if you don't see that and you don't act like that and you don't show that, they'll treat you like every other projection they've treated. That's it. It takes you knowing yourself. It takes you accepting it. And there's a certain element of what aspect of being humble is detracting. Because to me, I think that word is misused. It's really being in gratitude. To me, I think if we deleted the word humble and put it in the trash, specifically because by definition, I'm not going to get all into this totally today, but I will say it because I brought it up. The etymology of a word, humble, yeah, it's got an autofocus and it won't. I got to go up there, push the button. So, humble, a person, late 13C, of persons, submissive, respectful, lowly in manner, modest, not self-asserting, obedient. Ooh, would never fall into this category. Lowly, literally on the ground. Low in kind, state, condition, also of low birth rank. We can unpack this deep. I'll have to do that in its own video. I'm going back to being in gratitude of who we are, what we're capable of doing, and how we can contribute to the experience we are in with somebody else from a place of strength. When we can own that, everything else starts to open up. On the other side of this, though, and this is where there's a fine line where we almost want to just butt right up against it. On the other side of it, it's too much, and over here it's like arrogance. It's pretentious. It's self-absorbed. It's literally it's so much that literally no one else matters because in that setting, that particular person thinks they're the world. That does not mean that it's not possible from back here in that place of gratitude to know that you're amazing. To know what you're capable of creating is of high value. And to know that your value in a business equation, your value in a relationship, your value in the friendships or relationships you have with your family has to be matched. It doesn't mean that you're better than people. It means that you have higher standards. It means that you have higher values. It means that you want to stand out from status quo. It means you want to be above and beyond basic. Because, have a good night, brother. Because if you are okay being basic, then we just come through and cut the tall poppy down and trim them up like the rest. And this is how we get so lost. This is how we get so lost in standing out. Because we got the same clothes, we got the same shoes, we got the same cars, we got the same educations, we got the same values and the same beliefs, and we got the same and the same and the same. So what happens when somebody stands out from that? They get beat up. Get back in line. Put your mask back on. Don't speak up. Cover your mouth. All these things are why people forget that they're awesome. They're amazing. They're unique. They're different. If I was to reach up and touch the camera, these are two different fingerprints. You got two different fingerprints, one on each hand, on each finger. You and your twin brother got a different fingerprint. You and your twin sister, you got a different fingerprint. Everybody is unique enough to matter. And if we understood we could be in gratitude while recognizing how amazing we are, we would create more. We would do more. I'll never forget, and I'll leave this family member nameless, but I would hear this family member say, "Oh, look at them. They think they're something." And when I go back and I read all my self-development books, my family books, my workbooks, Healing the Child Within, all these things that I do with myself alone, the things I work on with my counselor, whatever the case is. And if you don't have a counselor, you better get one. If you don't have a coach, you better get one. Hence, I'm a coach and a trainer. You want to also distinguish, too, the difference between a trainer and a coach. See, I use this analogy that if we were driving and I needed to teach you how to drive, but there was a head-on collision right before us, it's not time for coaching. I'm going to tell you how to navigate the vehicle. Okay, we got to get safe before we can get to the next level. So with that said, is I would train you on how to drive in that moment, even if that meant I had to co-take the wheel with you. Okay, so there is a big difference, and so getting back to this is, if we understood how destructive things like that nameless family member who would say that person thinks there's something, these things are so destructive that I've even heard myself applying that crap to myself. Like even, who do they think they are trying to do this? Like, what? Like, seriously, these are the kinds of things that keep people stuck. Like the deep-rooted unconscious language of the unconscious mind is the limitation. And there is no limitation. You see that? You see that's crazy, isn't it? The mindset of understanding that the only real limitations are the limitations that we believe in. Now, that is still upheld in the reality that the language of our unconscious mind is where the limitations are created. It's kind of confusing. I can even confuse myself as I'm saying it. It's not very confusing, though, when we slow it down. See, when we slow it down, there are no real limitations. The only limitations
are the limiting beliefs that we impose upon ourselves. And the limiting beliefs come from the language that the unconscious mind is operating from. So by me having the awareness that that very toxic, unhealthy statement that family member had been taught by somebody else in their life that was being applied outwardly in their mind was also being applied inwardly in their own. Now, I know and understand that we can do anything. Like, I'm seriously like an anomaly. And I don't mean that like, oh, I'm like the best in the whole world. I am like seriously like I could stand up and jump up and down and I can say confidently from a place of gratitude, like it is seriously God's miracle, like the working of God that I am still here today, that I am alive today. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, dozens of times. Why I'm still here, why I'm alive. And so this is all important because the more we understand how important we are and the more serious we take ourselves is the more serious the whole world opens up to. Because if you don't take yourself seriously, don't expect somebody else to. I had this issue for a long time. And the reality is there are far too many business owners, coaches, parents, friends that don't even realize their own value. The hardest part about understanding our own value and demonstrating it is really not falling into somebody else's version or narrative of what we should be. That's how we shrink. Because if we allow somebody else to project onto us to create the representation of who we are based on who they think we are, even if this is somewhat healthy in the sense of it's a positive projection, it could be an expectation we can't live up to. And then it works to the other side of it. But literally, if we understand how important it is to uphold and honor ourselves, it reminds me. Let me pull something up. There was some discussion. There was some discussion. There was some discussion I had with somebody who I was creating a potential to work with. And let me see if I can find it. This would be a cool little improv. Honestly, I'm just going with the flow here on this one. I think I can get a lot more value out into the world. What in the front door? There we go. I get a lot more value out of the world if I do more of these where I go with the flow of some of this stuff unless I'm interviewing people. Don't tell me I deleted it. Oh, I deleted it. Hang on. I'll just read it based on how I replied to it. And so, let me just make sure I don't. Okay. So, I'm going to preface with this because this whole talk track came from being in gratitude of your gifts, your excellence, your capabilities, and owning it more than anybody else, because no one's going to take you more seriously than you take yourself. And if you don't take yourself seriously, you're not going to create what you're capable of creating. And so, prefacing that, I'm going to actually read some stuff that I had made a presentation in my business, in my training, my coaching, and I'm trying to think. This was last year around the summertime. And basically the individual was not in a position mindset wise to wrap their head around my value, very specifically because they themselves were in a very similar field as me, and they were having a challenge wrapping their own head around their own value. Okay? And if I wasn't prepared and equipped to hold my own space, to know my value and to offer it, and to remove that offer from the table when the interpretation of my value was said to be lesser. Very simple. I appreciate your response. I value your feedback, and I'll take it accordingly and take it into consideration if needed. I empathize with you. Your position is this, and the statement of being extremely expensive is in compared to what? Like what is this in compared to? And so there's some other stuff. Honestly, I'm going to be really, really vague with this. I'll have to come back to it. The more I'm starting to see this, I got a lot I would have to delete in order to, there's no NDA in place or anything yet. What I want to do is I just want to make sure that I'm being respectful to what I'm sharing. So here, this is what I'll. Yep. So this came down to them telling me what they felt my services were worth. And so I will say very clearly, I stated, I do not negotiate price, as I know the value of I know the value of my work and the results I'm able to deliver. It's important for you to understand you inaccurately described a session, which in the industry of coaching and similar, a session is a model which can be anywhere from 30 minutes to 45 minutes to 60 minutes, not 3 hours. And so we were presenting, myself, my brand, my company, we were presenting a service that we provide, which offers a breakthrough session, which is not actually one session. It's multiple concentrated sessions that have a very structured and facilitated process to get to some of the limiting beliefs and different things in the unconscious mind. And it's an awesome experience. That breakthrough experience has unlocked things for myself when I went through it, unlocked things for my clients. I've had somebody say that after that breakthrough experience, they committed 10% of their annual income to self-development. So that's really cool. So in this, let me come back to it. Where did it go? So, and I got to be vague again, so I need to get real clear. And I said, because I do not negotiate price. Yes. Your inaccurate description of a session and its comparison to what they said, the highest paid coaches in the world, comes only from your inaccurate labeling of a session. Based on your decision to break it down into price per hour and the formula, it's not even close to the highest paid coaches in the world. And then I'm being vague. I got to come back to this, and I'll bring this back full circle. basically what I concluded, and I got to go back to this. This just kind of came up on the fly, and this is really about how our value has to be upheld by us. No matter how much we have on our plate for responsibility, for overhead for our business, for any of these things, the one thing I can say, coming from like having lots of money and no worries about how I was going to eat, sleep, pay rent, do any of those things, driving nice vehicles and all that stuff, to, whoa, my pocket is thin. Like I'm telling you that staying strong and knowing the value and not negotiating my price has always been something that I've known had value. Now, when I really started to totally run that, I knew when I was running that I was okay on the other side of not having any clients at that price point, at the influx of business that I could have if I reduced my price. And so while working with my coach, he explained to me that the most valuable thing to do for myself and my client would simply be to scale the offer down. Rather than negotiate, scale the offer down. Less time, less work, less connection, less proximity, scale the offer down. And so I've known this, and having the affirmation over and over by my unconscious mind is why I went with it. And so I go back because this is really, really, really good for Thirsty Thursday. And speaking of Thursday and thirsty, I'm thirsty too. It's really important to know how amazing you are, to know what you can create, to know that you do not have to settle ever. All you have to do is raise your standards and ask that the other people around you raise their standards. And if they don't, then they made their own cut. Reminds me of one of my professors in my early days of my criminal justice studies, law enforcement studies. He said, listen, everybody starts out with an A. Everybody. Beginning of the semester, you got an A. Then you all choose to maintain the A. Or some of you start chiseling it down and hacking it into a B. And then you hacked it down to a B. You chose that. And if you didn't like the B, you chose to hack it down to a C. And then for those of you that really wanted to outdo yourselves, and I'm adding some of this commentary, he didn't say all of this, but he said the concept is, those of you that really want to outdo yourselves, you come and hack it down to a D. So ultimately, I started to realize that I could apply the same concept to my business. And even in the beginning, if the consistency of clients, if the consistency of lead flow wasn't there, what was consistent is I knew my value. You're really amazing what you're capable of creating right now with the right people on your team, the right coach, the right trainer, the right friends, the right environment. What you're capable of creating is exponential growth. I still have my Tony Robbins wristband on. Okay? Why? Exponential growth. I'm not going to take this off until I can cut it off and I can put it in a little frame and I can say where I was before that event and where I am now when I cut that off. That's because I know that just with intention and negation, that very simple amount of time from leaving the event to right now. And wait, let me see how that looked on camera. Maybe it should have been from where I was at in the event to right now. Is that going forward? Or I have to do some reverse engineering on this. I got to make sure that my gestures are correct for the way the camera is, the way I'm positioned. But anyway, it's me getting. I have to be able to truly say that when I cut this off, that I've had like exponential growth at a way of like, whoa. And I already know that from where I was when I left the event to right now, just crazy different. Crazy different. Okay. So what does all this mean? Well, this means go out there. This means put yourself out there. This means do something different. If you want to have a business that helps people, then do it. Do not talk about it. Do it. Put yourself out there. How are you helping them? I don't do these videos just because I think I have a chance. I do these videos because I'm committed. Hang on, my screen just went blank. Is that dumbass? Oops, sorry. I was going to say, is that dumbass, that docking station that I ordered a replacement from? It's still not here. But anyways, I don't do these videos because I'm bored. I don't do these videos because I kind of like this. I do these videos because I want to help people, and I'm doing it. Even if I don't have likes, even if I don't have clicks. I know that in a 40-minute, 45-minute long content video, if I did not say something in this video that moved at least 5 people to do something different in their life, even if they don't watch this video for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month, I know for sure I'm touching somebody. I do not need the external validator of likes. It doesn't bug me. I have clients. I know I can meet people every day, have conversations like this, and bring them into my business and help create results for them. I do these videos because I know that somebody needs them. Even if that somebody's me. And there's somebody at the receiving end that's like, damn, he's willing to be this vulnerable. He's talking on camera. There's nobody there with them. Like, the next step is me interviewing people. I'm just growing into that. Maybe I was already there. Again, where do I see myself? I want to dial in a couple more things. I want to dial in this. I want to dial in that. Maybe those are excuses. You know what? Matter of fact, no. Let me see. Who could I interview? Let me see. Who do I have in my phone? No, you know what? I got an idea. I'm gonna go on right now, and I'm gonna see who I could interview. So now I'm getting scared. Whoa, I'm on camera talking about what I'm going to do. I'm going to get scared. And I don't want to say, like, what I want to do is I want to start a podcast. And I want to start a podcast that's on point. And what I mean by on point is I want to have enough of a structure to where the creation of beautiful content takes place. Where is this? Where is this? Here it is. Here it is. Anyways, I'm going to message some people. You see, I'm backpedaling now. I'm like, oh, I'm going to message some people. I'm going to message them offline where I can procrastinate. I can get off this camera. Let me see. Almost there. I commented on a lot of stuff lately on LinkedIn. There's a couple people that made some comments that I really wanted to talk to them about. I got a couple people in mind that I'd like to interview. I'm committed. I'm not just backing out because I'm on camera and I'm wasting time. I'm not wasting. Where is it? This guy here. I'm not going to show yet. I'm committed to reaching out to him. And then there's another guy. These guys are awesome. Actually, I know a few people that I want to interview. All right. And then it would be... Wow, LinkedIn is amazing. There's just so much content that I've liked and commented on, and then
all of a sudden the few things I've said are just like gone. Like they're so far down the list. Crazy. All right, so got the other person that I wanted to interview. I think that's it. All right. That's it. Got it.
All right, so I'm gonna reach out to some people. I want to do some interviews. I want to have some structure to it. At the same time, I like the fluid nature of being and not being overly rigid. Because I think could be no, I won't say it. Hit the deck. No, I think that there's a lot of value in free flow creativity, as I'm actually like, my writing and my speaking are like very clear examples of my free flow creativity and how important that is. What I can say though, and this is something I'm really committed to, is I'm really committed to helping. Whoa, what happened? Really committed to helping more creators and more like really helping him like really committed to helping more creators implement other areas of structure and process to build systems in both their lives and their businesses. Because I think that without a certain level of structure and a framework of some basic process, we lack the follow through to produce excellence. And that is where the content is created. Excellence is really content. And like it's I'm super jacked up. I love nothing more than growth. Like, not even to a point where, like, I read this passage, I think it was in those books I showed you a little bit ago, of pursuing self-development, like, endlessly from a I'm not enough perspective. And that may have been where I was at some point on the journey, like, enough is not enough, and enough is not enough, and I want more. And then it comes down to, like, the growth. Like, I can feel it, like, energetically, like, I can feel it. Like, when they say there's no stairwell to success, or there's no elevator to success, you got to take the stairs. There's no elevator to success, and you have to take the stairs. And my opinion on that is that's because the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual transformations that the body will go through, and all of the energy that the body will release and will take in and will heighten up and all these different things. That's why you can't take an elevator. I would equate that for those of you that might like, okay, so you get on an elevator and you go up really high, really fast. You know, there's no elevator to success. From that analogy, energetically speaking, going from this to all those leaps energetically is too much energy for the body to take on and dissipate old stuff and handle new, and the unconscious mind to let stuff bubble to the surface and allow you to fix it, let the energy fizzle out and allow more to come in. Now, here's the real example. And I'm not a diver, so I can't give you all the facts and all the data. What I can tell you, though, is what is it? What's the island? What's this little island? It's the Catalina Island, like the little thing right outside. Not little, but this island right off. Like you leave the port of Long Beach and you go to Catalina, and basically there is a tank. I can't remember what it's called. Oh, the geek in me is going to be annoyed when I get off this video. Like, I can't believe you gave him that stuff and you didn't know you're a geek. Like, I almost want to Google it right now. What is the tank? And yeah, let me just geek it out quick. Let me do it quick. Hang on one second. Okay. Mm, there is a tank. No, that's not it. I'll find out. But basically, on the Catalina Island, there is this tank that when a diver goes too low, and not too low, when a diver goes really low diving, and then they ascend too fast, and the body goes through some really messed up stuff, and I don't know all the science of that either. I'm doing my best to recall everything, and I'm okay with not knowing. It's cool. It's actually like I never would be in a position where I'd be given some geek stuff and not have all the geek, because I love to geek. So when the body's coming up too fast, and it cannot take on enough. I can't remember all the details, and I'm not going to say stuff because I'll be missing the boat. The whole point is a lot of health risks can happen, even death. It's serious. It's really serious. And that is the best real, grounded in reality, scientific correlation that I can make from there's no elevator to success, and we have to take the stairs up a spiral all the way around. That's why sometimes it looks like we're going in a circle, but really we're just going up the stairs and just up the stairs, and we're going and we're going. And anyways, I say that energetically, specifically because I don't want to get into this video. I'm just thinking something in my head. But basically, like, if the body takes on too much energy at once through some of the development and transformation, it can't handle it. And I think the fictitious example of this would be like taking an iPhone back into the future. If you took an iPhone back, like, I don't know, like 100 years ago, just by merely pulling it out of your pocket. Now, this is fictitious. There's no evidence. There's no proof. I think we could all just say that to some degree there would be a lot of turmoil. There would be a lot of pain. If you reached in your pocket and pulled out this device and said, "Look, we could listen to music and we could take photos and we could do this." Now, there's a name for this too, but basically, like, it's so far-fetched that it would almost send someone into shock. Like, it would just, like, it would send them into shock. Like, obviously there's stuff that I'm saying that is validated in other areas, and I don't have the science, and I'm not saying it's concrete. I'm saying that in reality, we know that some things are so far out that it'd shock somebody. Now, if we took an iPhone back into the 80s, it wouldn't shock anybody. Be like, "I told you the government was lying to us. We knew that we had this technology." It's new enough. And so that's kind of that example of energy dissipating. It's still close enough in time where, like, the book, anyway, the Big Brother book. But anyways, I'm just having fun. It's Thirsty Thursday. Everything I say today and tomorrow and the next day is really for growth and development purposes, some entertainment. Anyway, it is what it is. So I got wrapped up in these details. I was like, holy shit, I've said stuff that I need to clarify and clean up, and I've got to get some perfection. Wait, there's a chat button? I saw people say, hang on. Oh my goodness. Wait. You could chat with? Hang on, wait. Hello. I didn't know I could. Hang on, this is cool. Oh, this is on oh, apparently it went to YouTube. That's cool. Okay. Anyways, so I'm going to pack this up. I had no idea. Wait a second. There's a chat overlay. Let me check this out. Bloop. Whoa. 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 Let me just do that again because it sounds annoying, and I'm being very entertaining. Whoa. And what I mean I'm being very entertaining, I'm entertaining myself. Okay. All right. Listen, everybody. It was amazing. We hung out for an hour. If I had to confess at the end, I'm just really wanting to get more comfortable on these other channels. And by doing the live stream to LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube, I am wanting to create the version of how I show up on video to be more uniformed. And what I mean by uniform is I don't want to be different on one platform than the other, where I would much rather create different content for each platform as the same person. I'm going to say it again because this is profound. Excuse me, this bubbly water is catching up to me. So if this was all this 50 minutes, 56 minutes, going into 57, if this all this was for me to get to this point so I could tell you guys this, and I learned this today, then this would be worth all 56 minutes it took to get to. I want to create content for all three of these platforms, and I want to be the same person on each of the platforms. I am absolutely okay and totally understand that I may have to make 3 different types of content, yet and that's okay. 3 different types of content, and that's okay. So long as I am being the same person on Facebook, Instagram, on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Because to me, that's where branding comes in. So I'm super freaking excited. Like, oh, I don't want to be swearing all the time. Got to work on that. I'm going to get going. Time to eat dinner. Time to go for a walk with the D-O-double-G. Layla, let's go for a walk. Want to go for a walk? All right, everybody. I'm out of the studio. I got to go have some fun. Remember, you are amazing. You can do it. And, what else? I was playing. I was messing. Have a great day. Be good. I'll do this again. Tomorrow is Friday. So today Thursday. Tomorrow is Freaky Friday. So, I'll stop. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you. Be good. Bye-bye.